investigation. One party controls the House of Representatives. And one party wanted to impeach the President of the United States, not a single Republican. I don't believe this has ever happened before in American history. The President is denied due process. I'm not talking about the Bill of Rights. I'm talking about the kind of due process past presidents have had, judges have had, who have faced situations like this. Basic Magna Carta type due process that people are supposed to get.
Exactly.
The President gets less due process than the terrorists on 9/11 get. They get habeas corpus rights and all these other. The President gets no rights, no consideration. The Republicans, no rights, no consideration. You just told me you couldn't call a single witness.
No, even when we ask.
Same problem in the House Intelligence Committee. They couldn't call a single witness. They wanted to call the whistleblower. Couldn't call the whistleblower. Can't even state the whistleblower's name, let alone call the whistleblower. John Bolton. They didn't go to court.
No.
Now you have, let's move to the Senate, demanding John Bolton, demanding Mulvaney, Chief of Staff to the President, demanding the OMB Director to the President, and the Secretary of State. These are four that they want. Congressman, don't we know historically that the courts have said under executive privilege and separation of powers, this small circle around the President, Congress doesn't get them.
No.
So they're purposely creating this confrontation.
Well, they want to. Again, here's the part. I'm going to go back to a statement that was said by the Majority Leader, Mr. Hoyer from Maryland. And he made a very revealing statement for anybody who's concerned about Constitution and rights, and especially for me, even those who, on my Democratic counterparts who worry about their communities where they discuss police action and they just, rights being violated. It's amazing to me how they're willingly setting that aside to come up to this. Steny Hoyer actually said the President we allowed him every opportunity to come prove his innocence. I'm sorry, did we take a vacation and leave the United States? Do we all of a sudden suspend the Bill of Rights? Do we suspend, any modicum of due process? I don't care if you think this president ought to be impeached or not. This is irrelevant. This should bother everybody, that how it came to be that we're going to make stuff up. And as I talked about this on the floor of the House, if I just wanted to go around and accuse you of something under the new standard is, then you just have to prove your innocence and everything will be okay. I think what's going to happen when the Senate gets it, and I think a lot of the folks in the Senate haven't paid as much attention. They were doing other things. Staff, now it's in their lap. They're going to hear this argument in less than a week or so. They're going to hear the argument, and it's going to be, here's what we say the case is. Then they're going to hear the president's defense for the first time in a long form. Here's what actually happened. And I think the American people are going to go back and see that, and the senators are going to look at it, and the senators are going to say, wait, this is what we're getting? These are the articles that you sent over? This is what you have wasted so much time and now have put us in a period of time in which we got to do something? I think the American people are going to see through this. I think that they already are seeing through it. But when you make a promise, when the Speaker makes a promise, when the Democratic left make a promise that we're going to impeach him, and it takes means, motive, and opportunity. Well, the means was how they can do it. The motive was that they didn't like him. They hated the way the economy's doing. They looked at their 2020 field and said, this is a disaster. And said, we've got to do everything to investigate him, harass him, do everything we can. So then the opportunity came. It was last November when they won the House. At that moment, if there was anybody in America, and I've heard the Speaker say this, and I just disagree fully, there were members of her party, most of her members who came to Washington when they got sworn in last January, who wanted to impeach this president. That's all they wanted to do. Everything else was sort of the we the people gravy that they threw out there, which was terrible for the American people.